What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Garden Warfare 2. So we've been doing a lot of solo stuff. We did gardens and graveyard ops, we did infinity time, and now we are going to collect all 54 golden gnomes because we're on a gnome trend. And then next episode, heck, we'll do the trials of Gnomes and then unlock Torchwood and Hovergo. How about that? We'll just stay on the gnome trend. Anyway, there's 54 gnomes. We're going to get started with the multiplayer maps, and we're going to do the herbal assault maps first. Alright, so starting on Zomburbia, this first one, there's going to be about 6 gnomes in the herbal assault and gardens and graveyards maps. So if you go to the far right side on this map, there's going to be one gnome just chilling right there, and that is going to be your first gnome. Alright, so from this first checkpoint, you're going to run over to this little garage area over here. So in between the first and second checkpoint, there's this garage. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to break this fence area, and there is a button right there. You hit that button, and then the garage door is going to open, and it should be right in front of you on some kind of workbench thing. Yeah, right there. Perfect. And that is your second gnome. Alright, so from the second checkpoint, there's going to be 2 in this third area, or really close by at least. So you're going to want to go to the far left, and there's these cages that you can see. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get in that far left cage that the plants would reach first. So this far left one, giant one, is broken open. You can't get in the scorpion one, so you get in the open one. And then there's a gnome in this little corner right here. And that is your third gnome. Okay, so immediately after you capture this third point, you're going to want to go to the right. Avoid the water, but there is this little sewage system right here. And there's going to be a gnome just chilling here. You can't really see him. I mean, he's... Okay, there you go. You can kind of see him there. That's your fourth gnome. So, like, basically right beside that gnome... there is another gnome right at the start of this fifth one. So you're going to want to go past the parade, and there are these little doorways that you can break open. And your gnome is going to be sitting right there. Gnome number 5. Alright, so as soon as you capture the academy, there's nothing between the last gnome and then trashing the party. But once you get to trashing the party, you're going to want to head to the library. That is the area you want to go to. So just go far to the left and then find the entrance. Alright, once you make it to the library, there is a corner that has a button. Right here, actually, is this corner. Almost missed it. And then this room's going to open, and you're going to get your gnome, and that is going to be the final gnome for this map. Alright, on to Moon Base Z. So this first one is actually going to be right at the start here. There's going to be a button kind of up in this corner here where we haven't hit it yet. Let's see, where is it? There it is, up at the top, right there. So you're going to hit this button, and then there's going to be a meteorite that just kind of like strikes the stage right there. And that is going to be the first gnome. There we go. Alright, so right after you capture this first zone, the next gnome is going to be right here in this little area. So you hop up here. Turn to your left, and there is a button there, and then a gnome pops out of that little door garbage thingy. You do have to maneuver your way up here, but once you get up here, you are rewarded with a gnome. Alright, so from this second checkpoint, you're going to want to go on the far, far, far left. And there's going to be a little drop-off area where there's just going to be a gnome chilling. So you want to look like you're going to jump off the edge. But if you look, there is a drop area. And that area is going to have your third gnome. Alright, so in this fourth area, there's this giant drill, and there's 2 different gnomes to get. This first one is really difficult, or it's more difficult. So on this left side here, you're gonna see, if you hang over the edge, 2 little crystals. If you drop down there, there's a little secret pathway. And you just keep on going down. Okay, wait, what? Where's the... Oh, button. Duh. Button. That makes a pathway. And then you get to your gnome. These gnomes and their buttons, man. There's also this giant one on the right side, which is really, really cool just to, like, look at. You can't do anything with that one. The one you collect is over here on the left. Alright, anyway, back at the drill. So that last one was down there. So from the drill, you go up. You're going to go past the graveyard here, because you don't need to capture it to get to this next gnome, because it's just right here. You go to this little machinery that chomps up little gems. You hop in the basket, and a gnome is sitting in the back. Alright, so at this final little area, I think this is the final capture point, you can walk past it, kind of like we did with the one with the chomping machine. And you're going to want to get up here. And up here. And then right over there, you see the gnome. So... just do it as zombies. Just freaking do it as zombies. Forget the pea shooter. I wasted so much time when I could have done that 80 years ago. Alright, so you don't have to worry about capturing anything or getting a gnome before capturing that first point. But when you hit when you hit the second point, or as you're going to the second point, you do need to remember to get this gnome. So on this far right, there's this snowman crew, but this snowman specifically on the log has a gnome. So you just gotta sadly kill the snowman, but you do get a gnome out of it, so like it's okay. So from this sign that says Wintry Games, as you're going to the third area, you're gonna want to kind of come up on this right side and then go middle. There is a little hidden area right next to the garden, actually. So the garden's down there. You can climb up this hill. Anyway, there's this little area, and you can tell the wall's kind of chipped. You just hit it with your main weapon, and then of course another gnome is yours. Alright, so at this fourth capture point here, underneath the bridge right here on this right side, there's another wall very similar to the one we just hit, and there's a gnome, but there's also one over here near this lake. There is another button panel right up there on that rock. You hit that, and then a gnome and a rubber ducky is yours to claim. Just don't fall in the water like I almost did. Alright, so on your way to the, I think it's the 5th, the 6th, I don't know what one we're on. This capture point here where you're kind of on the hill, you just captured the one near the hut, and you're going to this one right before you start doing the suburbanation minigame. On this far left side, there's going to be a little drop off here. You can land on another set of things. Yep, great. Platforms. Yep, that's the word. And there's a gnome right there. Alright, so here's the capture area. There is where you usually go to do the suburbanation minigame. We're going to walk a little bit over here to where these trees are, and there is a button right there. You just hit it, and then of course a gnome is going to pop up. But it's not going to pop up right in front of you. You do have to go over to this rock, and that is going to be the last gnome in this map. It does take a second to get up there, though. I don't know why they make... Why do they make this so difficult? Just get up there, dude. Oh my gosh! Lord have mercy on my soul. There's another gnome. Jeez. Alright, so the final Gardens and Graveyards map, when you are at Seeds of Time, you just go over to this right area right here, and then the first gnome is just going to be on a display case with some toys. So this one, pretty easy to spot, right in the corner. You can't miss it. So don't worry about Dino Park, you don't need that. So at Zeegypt, the teleporter little area is right here. You're just gonna go up the stairs, and the gnome is right here, yet on another display case. These are pretty out in the open. So you just got through with Egypt, now you're in Asia. Go over this bridge right here, and there's gonna be another button. The gnomes, they love their buttons. I don't know what's up with that. It's right at the top of this door here. It's very easy to miss, the first easy one to miss in this map. You're just going to push it in, go back onto the bridge, and then a gnome is going to show up on a little cloud. It's very adorable, and we love it. Alright, so you just crossed the main bridge in Rome. There's two quick, easy ones to get here. Go on this right side, and you're going to see this little toy shop here. You know you're at the right one when there's this waterfall underneath, because hidden in the waterfall, very hard to see, there is a button that you hit, and once you do that, a gnome pops up in said gift shop. So that's an easy one. There's another easy one right before you capture the point, and there's only one more after that. So before you even get into the capture area, you can kind of see it up there. You just hop up here. Okay, my jump got eaten somehow. Great. You just hop up here. Don't get knocked off. Very hard to do so. And then, no. Stop. Okay, can I please get my gnome? I see him. Okay, fine, whatever. Just get this gnome out of my life. Pea shooter, I love you. Makes no sense why I couldn't get it with super brains or foot soldier or literally any zombie. I guess my game is bugged. Alright, so once you get the glitched gnome, you head back here, and you have to be a plant for this. So you switch back to plants. Plants save the day yet again. And then you go into the spawn, and you go all the way back here, and there's a gnome just hiding in this little furnace, little canopy thing. And that is all of the gnomes in both Herbal Assault and Gardens and Graveyards. Every other multiplayer map, which we're about to do, has 2 gnomes per map. And then every other gnome in the hub world has 1 gnome per area. So on the far right side of the map, this back little corner, there's actually one right here. So it's crazy that we spawned right here as plants. So you just kind of hop up on these rocks, and then it's tucked away in this little corner. Alright, and directly opposite of that, so this is the middle of the map, so you're going to want to go to this waterfall right here, basically on the opposite side of the map. You're going to hug this waterfall and go down backwards slowly, and as you fall, you push forward. Because, bingo, there's a little secret corridor in the waterfall down here. And those are the 2 gnomes in Zen Peak. Alright, so Boney Island, this is the center of the map where a lot of like fights happen. So if you go over to this area, way up at the top, there is a button to hit, and then it spawns a gnome right there. So again, this is the middle of the map, so this is the left side to get that gnome. And again, if we use the middle of the map as reference, this is the bottom level, kind of in the middle of the map. So that's that middle area. So you're going to want to go all the way to this far right side. And tucked away at the bottom in this corner is the other gnome. Very, very well hidden. So those are the 2 gnomes on Boney Island. Alright, on to Sandy Sands. So if you're on the plant side, you spawn on this side, which is perfect because there's a gnome that spawns over here. So you spawn on this side. Up there, there is a, of course, button we gotta hit. And it spawns a gnome. I actually don't know where it spawns the gnome. Does it bring it? Doesn't it bring it to us? Yeah, it's on a little boat. Okay, it just took a little while. I thought the gnome came on a little boat. Boat gnome. So yeah, you spawn here. Button's up there. You just hit it. Delivered on a boat. The other one is very, very close by, so if you just go past that button over there. So we just came from there. That's that top middle of the map, so keep coming over here all the way to the other side. You're going to see this vase up top on this pedestal. It's the only vase there. You shoot it down. It has a gnome, and then, of course, you can just get up and collect it. Those are the 2 gnomes on Sandy Sands. Coliseum. So you're gonna see this zombie statue here eating grapes. That's what you're gonna, that's the landmark you're looking for. So right past that, you go on this lower level here, and there is a gnome hidden right there. So this guy is pretty tucked away. You need a smaller character like an imp or a pea shooter just to even get to him. Alright, quite literally directly across the map. We were just over there. Now we're on this side. You're going to want to see this Zomba statue to your right. There is a secret button to hit. It is on this corner, so you might have to fall off, or if you're a gamer, you can hit it without falling off. Let's see if I can do it. Nope. I don't even think I hit it when I fell off. Anyway, that's the button. You gotta hit it. And then if you die while you hit it, it's fine because all you need to do is hit it to activate it. And then, like the gnome will spawn. So I didn't hit it, so I need to hit it again. Well, I need to hit it at all. I just need to hit it in general. Okay, I think I hit it. I'm pretty sure. That second shot, I can't aim, so I wouldn't be shocked if I didn't hit it. But I'm pretty sure I got it. Alright, Zomboss statue. So when you hit the button, if you look right below it, so that's where the button is. If you look right below it, yes, the wall should open and there is a gnome. Those are the 2 gnomes on Coliseum. Alright, on to Lunar Landing. This is the middle area here, just so you know where we are. So on this far left side, I'm pretty sure the zombies spawn here naturally. So I probably should have been a zombie, but whatever. Anyway, on this side, there is a little drill tucked away in this corner. So you just go over to the drill, get on top of the drill, and in the little seat is a gnome. Alright, just to give you a frame of reference, the drill was right over there. So if you go in this door, the far left of the inside area where gravity is normal, you're going to want to go basically directly across, up the stairs, and then over to this area because, you guessed it, there is a button on this bookshelf, really Honestly, it blends in with the decor. You go in this room because a gnome hasn't spawned. But looky there. It was just in this room. Lunar landing, pretty easy to find the gnomes, only if you know where to look. I mean, you probably wouldn't find them just naturally, unless you just got insanely lucky. If you're in the Egypt area, you're gonna want to find the Rome portal, and then in this little crevice here, the sewer area behind these bars, there's a gnome. But you don't have to go too far for the next gnome, because the next gnome is right in Rome, actually. That rhymed, bars. And you're going to want to go to the Seeds of Time portal. Get on this side near this vase, because directly across, you shoot a button covered in vines, and you saw the gnome spawned right there. Time Park, very quick, very simple, easy one to find your two gnomes. Alright, so both gnomes are on this half of the map with Z-Tech and bot parts. So the middle's kind of like in this general area. Zombots usually form right there. So this is just on this side of the map. I don't know how else to explain it. I hope you know where I am. If you're in Garden Ops, I think you just spawn on this side of the map, always in Garden Ops. Anyway, so you spawn up there if you're in Garden Ops. Down here in this little corner, there's a gnome hidden in a zombie jail cell, or locker, if you will. And the other gnome is very, very close by. It just doesn't look it. Because you go over to this corner, and way over there is a button 50 miles away. You hit it, and then this cute little Zomboss balloon shows up with a gnome hanging upside down. And those are your two gnomes in a Z-Tech factory. Alright, the last multiplayer map is Frosty Creek. All the other maps, like Frontline Flats, Aqua Center, and then the Herbal Assault map, where you have to defeat Zomboss, those were added later into the game, so they don't count for the initial gnome hunt, because they only added gnomes in the initial maps. So this is this middle level shack, and you're going to want to find the post that says Sawdust Mill, and that's where we're going to start. So you're going to see this wreckage kind of right here, almost directly across from it. You're just going to climb up this hill, and on this red truck in the back, the red truck has a cooler, but instead of drinks or anything, it's a gnome. Now, from this same area, the last gnome was in this truck right over there. So we're going to go over here. And on this bridge, there's a button. And then you know what's going to happen. Yep, we got a gnome riding a log, just hanging out. And that is going to be the final gnome, not only on Frosty Creek, but on all multiplayer maps as well. The remaining gnomes are all in the backyard, or in the single player campaign mode. So, first one, you walk in, Dave's right here, gnome just sitting on the counter. That is a very, very easy one. You cannot miss it. Alright, on to the portals in the back. If you don't know where the portals are, they're the single player mode right behind the promotion room. You need to clear all of these to get the gnomes. We're going to start in Rose's area. Rose is very, very easy. We're used to hitting buttons. There's a button by this fountain. It explodes, and of course, there's a hidden gnome there. Next, we're going to talk to Colonel Corn. Colonel Corn's is pretty easy. So he's right there. You just go around him. He has a chest for you that I need to open. But in this back corner, the gnome is just hanging out. Alright, the Citron portal, also another very easy one. It's actually even more out in the open than the Colonel Corn one. You walk in, it's right there. Just hanging out. I guess PopCap thought people wouldn't look there because Citron's up there, so you're worried about the stairs or just getting up there. But it's staring you right in the face. Alright, the final gnome related to story mission areas. You go down here when you finally beat his missions as well as all the other agents' missions. And you act like you're going to the final Dave bot or Infinity Time, but you turn around, do a quick 180, button right there, and then of course the gnome pops up. Alright, that's all the ones related to the zombie mission, or the plant missions. We'll get to the zombies in a minute. So the Chomper Pizza is right here, and the park is right here. You're going to see this scoreboard, and there is a gnome sitting on top of the scoreboard. You can kind of see him right there if you squint and tilt. So what you need is Hyper, a Pea Shooter Hyper, or a Super Brains Jump, or a Foot Soldier Rocket Leap. You need something to get up here that you just normally can't do by your lonesome. So you can just hop up there. You don't even need to be up here to collect the gnome. You can just, you know, get up there and grab it. There's another one very, very close by that we can get with Pea Shooter while we're here. So you go over to this dock, but you don't go on the dock. You go right behind it, and there is a gnome in the sewer bars with tons of bananas. So it's right by, I mean, it's right under this anchor. Alright, so the time area is right here. There's this entire sewer system underneath. If you haven't checked it out, there's so much down here. But this is where the two next gnomes are. One, it's kind of a long process. You're going to see this close sign. That's where Rux used to be. He never comes by there anymore. He's just in your base. So you go around here, all the way in the back. I'm actually just going to speed this up with Hyper. And then you're going to take a right, and all the way down on the right, there's going to be another gnome hidden behind bars in another little sewer pipe area. Right here. Well, it's not a sewer pipe, but you get the idea. Okay, so this final gnome down here, I think it's easiest to get it with a zombie. You can get it with a plant. It's just too finicky, whether it's Citron or someone else. It's just a little too finicky. So, Rux, his old thing, down here. You're going to go across the way, and you're going to see these pipes. There's a gnome hidden behind those pipes. You can kind of see it glowing from this angle. So what you do is warp. I'm trash. Oh my gosh. Alright, finally got the Citron boost. Don't ask me how. I still don't know. Give me the gnome. Thank you. Alright, so there's only a few gnomes remaining on this far left side. There's going to be this little gravestone area, and there's going to be a gnome buried, but not too buried where you can't grab them, so that's always nice. So from there, we can just go to the back because we're going to the solo player, so that's where the promotion character scoreboard is, and all the characters you got to promote. So anyway, we're going to start with Super Brains, his portal, because again, we need to do the solo mission gnomes. So Super Brains is right there. He has a statue of himself. If you go behind the statue, there's just a gnome hanging out. No one usually goes behind here, so unless you're gnome hunting, you don't see them. But very easy to grab, very easy to see when you know that they're there. Alright, on to the Z-Mech. Very, very easy one. It's almost painful how obvious it is. Yeah. You walk in to the right. And finally, we're looking at the pirate. So the shark is right here. The pirate is right here. If you go in this little area, there's just a gnome hanging on the bookcase right next to his bed. So the captain's is pretty easy to spot as well. The final gnome is why I've been playing Foot Soldier this entire time. Dr. Physician, the first set of missions right here. You hop in this little vault. You turn around, and there's the gnome right up there. So what you want to do is, I think we can just just rocket jump kind of in that general area and be fine. Yep. Just got to be very careful as you climb. And there we go. Gnome has been acquired. That is all 54 gnomes. Now, what do we do with this information? I'm so glad you asked. I'll show you. So, down here, just to give you a reference, the fish is right there. Target practice is right there. You're underneath the sewers. Down here is where we get to see why we've been collecting all of these gnomes to begin with. There's this giant little gnome area. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But over here, tons of free chests, which means money. We got the tactical cuke. I love that. Over here, we got the petrified tree. We love that. And a gnome door opens because we have all 54 gnomes. All these chests are down here. Yeah, I don't have 200 stars yet. I'll come back to you. But 3 more chests, you know how it goes. More money, more items. Thinking of the brains, we love that. We get the golden bonsai tree. And then we also get this chest here, which is tons of money. Well, Alex, that was kind of underwhelming. It's everything's probably in the 200 star chests, right? Wrong. There's one more secret for us. In this room, when the gnome is to our back, if you look up, there is one final button which opens a secret door back here. And if you can solve this puzzle, you get even more rewards, and we're going to solve it right now. Now, I don't know why this is the answer, but it is the answer. So, if you put the most outer wheel on the pot, you change the wheel. You put this one on the flamingo. You change it again. You put this one on the fence. And then you change it one more time and you put the most inner one on the potted plant. Don't know why this is the answer. I'm sure I knew back when I was younger and didn't have other stuff to do. If you do it in that order, I did something wrong. Because there should have been this really awesome cutscene that, like, you know, everything exploded and it was crazy. What did I do wrong? Hold on. Let me troubleshoot. Oh, I just hit next wheel. My bad. I was like, I don't understand. Let me just hit next wheel. No, you have to hit next wheel to open the door. Crazy cutscene, like I said. God, they made me feel stupid. And there is another Gnomes room back here. Start the magic. Let's hear it.
I'm a gnome, yes, I am a gnome. On the lawn with my fawn and my fawn, yeah.
I love the music. I'm a gnome. I am a gnome. All right, we got King Gnomes' reign and some money. We got a King Gnomes guard for the zombie yard, the zombie base. We got 250,000 coins. I'm glad he's still singing. Alright, another one. Another 250,000 coins. But the main reason we're here, this guy right here, we get a legendary hat, the Gnomish Perspective. It's this dude that's singing right now on our character, and we look a little wacky. So let me show it off really quick. All right, I'll put it on the foot soldier because that's, you know, who it was on. And the game looks a little weird. Just a tad. But I mean, hey, it is a cool hat, and all the enemies are kind of highlighted in like neon, so you can kind of see them easier. Doesn't make it easier to aim, unfortunately, so I'm, you know, doesn't help me out, but it is still really, really cool. Now, I do need to go get 200 stars so I can open up that other chest, because you know that's going to be a good reward. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Alright, I am back with 200 stars. There was one chest we couldn't open because I didn't have 200 stars, but now I do, and we get to open this chest to officially end off the gnome hunting video. 200 stars, and we get the everlasting crown. I forgot about that. And doesn't he like compliment you on vanquishes? Isn't that the whole thing? Can anyone wear him? It's anybody, right? Or is it only the zombies? Oh yeah. Everyone can wear him. And yeah, Colonel Corn may be legendary. What's it to ya? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this helpful video. Very different from what we're usually doing, but hey, I'm a helpful guy sometimes. I don't always scream, so I know, shocker. Anyway, see you next time. Peace out, everyone.